Good afternoon, everyone. That was great, thank you. It's so wonderful to see a room full of young readers. And I'm assuming that, like me, it was very exciting. I just got to meet Marc Brown, the creator of our beloved Arthur. Was that exciting for you to meet him? Thank you so much for being here. I would like to welcome all of you to this beautiful Centennial Hall at our Central Library. I'm Joan Johnson, Deputy Library Director at Milwaukee Public Library. I also bring greetings from our Library Director, Paula Kiley. She is so sorry not to be able to be here, but this is conflicting with one of our board meetings, so apologies. We are very happy to be participating with United Way in celebrating the 4,800 plus local volunteers, many of you who are with us today, who served as readers, tutors, and mentors. All activities that we here at Milwaukee Public Library fully embrace and promote in our own work in the community. Just like you and with you, we celebrate reading every day, not just the month of March. And at our libraries, the greatest free resource our libraries are the greatest free resource for families in the city. Milwaukee Public Library, with the support of the Milwaukee Public Library Foundation, is able to offer early literacy services to families throughout the city. In addition to preschool story times and lots of different types of similar programs that are reading focused, the library offers a more intensive program called Ready to Read. Ready to Read provides training and support to parents and child care providers in helping children be more prepared to learn how to read when they enter school. This is achieved by training adults who work with children to learn educational principles such as something called 6 Skills for Literacy and the 5 Practices. These help foster language skills and healthy brain development. The library also supports school-age learners through the city's premier Super Reader Summer Reading Program. How many super readers do we have with us today? Oh, I'm just going to say every person in the audience should be raising their hand. We want to make sure every single one of you is participating this summer in our Super Reader Summer Reading Program. So we will make sure we get to you before the summer is over. We reach over 20,000 kids with that program, teens and students. And the whole goal of that is to keep all of you reading throughout the summer break. We do not want to have any of you suffering from what we call brain drain. We don't want anyone to be attacked by Dr. Brain Drain between May, June, July, and August before you go back to school in September. A lot of students will backslide during the summer, and sometimes by the time September rolls around, they're a little bit behind from where they were when they ended the previous school year. So the whole purpose of summer reading is to keep everyone sharp throughout the summer. So we hope that you will be reading throughout the summer. During the school year, we also offer a program called Teacher in the Library to assist 1st through 8th graders with homework help, academic support, and encouragement. Supplemental to this face-to-face support is homework help that is offered online through a service called BrainFuse, which can be accessed through the library's website, through the library's webpage, for many, many more hours than we can be open. This is only a small sampling of the many educational offerings provided by the library's professional youth services, librarians, and educators. I hope that many of you are able to take advantage of these programs with your families and friends. And for those of you who are being celebrated today as volunteers with the Reader Tutor Mentor Program, if you're looking for additional volunteer activities, because I don't want to steal you away from a great program, our volunteer coordinator would also love to hear from you. So I would like to thank you all for your attention today. I do need to turn this over now to Mary Lou Young, President and CEO of United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County. But before I do that, I just would like to just say, please enjoy your afternoon, enjoy your time with Marc Brown. and just enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joan, and thank you to the Milwaukee Public Library for graciously hosting us today at Centennial Hall. There is no better place to celebrate the power of reading than this beautiful library. United Way works hard in our community to provide a better quality of life in the areas of education, income, and health. We are committed to connecting people to meaningful opportunities for volunteerism. In 2012, we embarked on a commitment to have 3,000 reader-tutor mentors and provide volunteer opportunities to help change a child's story. Today, we celebrate 4,800 volunteers who heard the call to action and made a difference in the lives of hundreds of our local children. We also are celebrating our agency program partners, the schools, and all the community organizations that provided the framework for this initiative. We could not have done it without them. If you are part of that group, would you please raise your hand and let us give you an applause. I'd also like to acknowledge that we've had two corporate sponsors that have helped us with this volunteer activity, Foley & Lardner and A.L. Smith Company. Let's give them a hand. Nationally, 1 in 4 children cannot read proficiently by the 3rd grade. That proficiency is a key indicator for their future success in school and in life. We also know that in Greater Milwaukee, like many other communities around the United States, a large number of children do not have even one book in their home collection. This tells us that we need even more caring adults to read to children across the country. So we partnered with 20 nonprofit agencies and schools to provide meaningful opportunities and serve as readers, tutors, and mentors. While United Way led the charge, we did this with a powerhouse of others.
Hello to all of you. By the way, hello Lainey. Hope you're doing well today. You know, when you talk about reader, tutor, and mentor, think about what those words mean. Think about the lives that are touched. Think about the impact that you have. COA Youth and Family Centers, my name is Tom Schneider, I'm the Executive Director of COA, is one of the partner agencies with United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha counties that is a partner in the Reader, Tutor, Mentor program. We serve 10,000 low-income children and families. We partner with United Way to provide early child education, youth development, family programming, and community development. And you ask me, how do we do it? We do it because we have a great staff, but because we have incredible partnerships and volunteers who have that impact on the lives of children and families every day at COA. 2.5 years ago, a young man came to COA. He was a financial consultant, and he was a reader, tutor, mentor. His name was Kyle Biener. And he wrote, "When I first began volunteering, I really wasn't sure what to expect or how I'd be received by the kids. But after my first day, one of the kids told me I should start working there every day. Hearing that made me feel good about what I was doing, while also helping to put me at ease. Since then, I've been really enjoying my time volunteering and plan to do it as long as they'll keep me around." That was 2.5 years ago. This year, our Reader, Tutor, Mentor is our Volunteer of the Year for the entire agency. The kids have something to say about readers, tutors, and mentors. A young participant named Donna wrote, "I appreciate Kyle for being humorous, respectful, generous, helpful, and fun." Nathan said, "I'm thankful for Kyle because he picked me up when I was down." Anthony said, "Kyle was interested in my life. We talked about a lot of stuff like school, work, and our families." And Povey said, "Kyle was always supportive of the kids here at COA. You walk in as a reader, tutor, or mentor, and you touch lives, and you change the future of those children, and you have an impact cannot tell you how much we appreciate what the readers, tutors, mentors do. Our partnership with this program, our partnership with United Way. We thank you for what you do. And all you have to do is look around at all those incredible, young, smiling faces, and you know how rewarding it is. Thanks so much.
Celebrate readers, and so all the kids, when I'm talking, wherever you hear the word reader, I want you to stand up and go, "That's me!"
That's me!
So let's practice. Ready? Reader.
That's me!
All right. Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today for this wonderful celebration. I'm John Kordsmeyer, Vice President of Strategic Philanthropy and President of the Northwestern Mutual Foundation. I'm here to thank the wonderful volunteers for Reader, very good, Tutor and Mentor, and to praise the generous and meaningful way that United Way supports our community strategic education initiative, Milwaukee Succeeds. Northwestern Mutual has taken a leadership role with Milwaukee Succeeds since its inception, just like United Way has. In fact, John Schlifsky, our chairman and CEO, serves as community-wide co-chair along with Mike Lovell from Marquette and Jackie Hurd-Barber, who you can see on this banner right here. What makes Milwaukee Succeed so successful is the same as what makes United Way successful. We work to establish a shared vision. We are data-driven. We're all about collective impact, and we invest in what works. Milwaukee Succeed is a broad-based, community-wide collaboration that aims to improve educational outcomes for every child in Milwaukee, in every school, cradle to career. We're working to achieve the following 4 goals. All children are prepared to enter school. All children achieve academically and graduate prepared for meaningful work and/or college. All young people use post-secondary education or training to advance their opportunities beyond high school. And all children and young people are healthy, supported socially and emotionally, and contribute responsibly to the success of the Milwaukee community. United Way is a key partner in all of these efforts, and the Reader?
That's me!
Oh, come on, that's it. All right, we're going to try this again. United Way is a key partner in each of these spaces, and the Reader?
That's me!
Mentor and tutor effort is perfectly aligned with supporting key efforts through volunteerism. And here's what we know. According to the National Mentoring Partnership, students who meet regularly with mentors are 52% less likely to skip a day of school, and 37% less likely to skip a class. And as Nicole from United Way has told us so well, children who have caring adults who take the time to read to them, read, to tutor or to mentor them are far more successful academically and have a better chance of graduating from high school. United Way is a leading example of the power of bringing corporate partners, foundations, and nonprofits together to address a common cause and work toward developing solutions, as is Milwaukee Succeeds. You need proof of this, about how good United Way is? Ask someone about United Way's impact on reducing teen pregnancy in our city. But it takes all of us. And as much as we celebrate the success of our reading and readers, tutor and mentor efforts thus far, there are many more children in need of our support.
So I'm Brian from United Way, and I get to introduce Marc Brown, who's the illustrator and writer of Arthur. And I thought, let's show Marc Brown how much we love Arthur. Stand up, and we're all going to sing the song at the top of your lungs. Let's go. Every day when we're walking down the street, everybody wants to meet. I can hear you. And I say, hey! That's what I you don't know each other. You got to listen to your heart.
Milwaukee. And it's been my privilege to be here and celebrate all of the hard work that the volunteers have done. If I ran the zoo, I would make this happen everywhere, in every city in America, because I think what you guys are doing is so special. So I just want to thank you for having me be a part of this. And now, for the fun part. Yes, we're going to have some fun. I thought maybe we'd start with some questions, because I know you guys are great readers. But what I think is, when I look out here, some of you are going to grow up and be great writers, great illustrators. You're going to make TV shows. And I want to share with you what I do, because I love my job. So do we have a... Whoa, I think that's a little loud. Do we have any questions? I thought we'd start with a couple of questions, and then I'm going to be asking for some help. Yes? Well, when you think about it, raise your hand again. Yes? I do. I'm the author, so I write the stories, and I'm also the illustrator. I draw the pictures. That's the fun part. Yeah. Yeah, well, I work on the TV show, too. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But you know how characters happen, ideas happen for these books that you read? You never know when you're going to get a good idea for a story. I was talking to kids one day, and they were second graders, and I was worried about this little boy who was running down the hall with his shoes untied. And I thought he was going to trip and fall, but something worse happened. He went up to a door, and he opened the door, and he didn't read the sign on the door. It said, "Girls' room." And as soon as he opened the door, all these girls started screaming, "Get out of here! This is the girls' room! What are you doing in here? You're a boy!" And you know what he did? He ran over to his coat, and he reached in his pocket, and he took out a pair of glasses, and he put them on. And he stopped bumping into things. And I got a letter from his teacher at the end of the school year. She said he never took his glasses off again after that day. And I thought, this is a good story. So, on my way home, I pulled the car over to the side of the road, and I started making notes on my electric bill. And then when I got home, I drew a picture. And this is the secret formula for drawing Arthur. He's really easy to draw. You just need to know how to do a few letters of the alphabet. Okay, we're going to do 2 letter O's like that next to each other. Hook them together. Okay, can you see over there? And then under here we're going to make a large letter U. And then a smaller letter U here for his. 2 dots for his. And 2 bigger dots for his. Okay, now an upside down U for the top of his. 2 lines for his. Okay, now we add some ping pong paddles for his ears. And that's what Arthur looks like. He's pretty easy to draw. I get a lot of great drawings from you guys. Okay, now I'm looking for someone to help me with my presentation. I need somebody who is a good reader. Raise your hand if you'd like to come up and help me with my presentation. It's not going to hurt. Come on up. Would you like to? Yeah, I'm just going to ask you to read some sentences, and then I'm going to do the answers. Because when they asked me to come around here and come up on stage, I've got a microphone for you. I thought, when they asked me to talk about books today, I decided to take a lot of the questions that kids write me. I get lots of letters, maybe 50,000 letters a year from kids. So what's your name? Jeremiah. I'm so glad that you volunteered. Okay, here's your microphone. Don't hold it too close to your mouth. Test it out. Say testing 1, 2, 3. You need to talk. Is that mic on for Jeremiah? Say it again, Jeremiah.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, all right. Okay, here, we're going to turn the lights down a little bit. And let's get started. Okay, we're starting. Oh, there's Whoopi. Whoopi, I mean, she loves Arthur. When I go places, everybody hugs Arthur, but nobody hugs me. Okay, here we go. Here's your first line. Why don't you, when these drop down, you read the questions, okay? And I'll give the answers.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I spent my entire childhood planning my escape.
Did you like your job?
I love my job. I feel so lucky I get to do this. I go out to the barn behind our house every day, and I think up ideas for books, for TV shows. And you know what? Before I got this job, I got fired a lot. I was a truck driver, and I kept getting lost. I got fired from that job. I was a chicken farmer. The chickens stopped laying eggs. I was a short order cook, and I couldn't figure out what ketchup fish, hit it with rye, and put a pair of shoes on it meant. You know what that is? It's a tuna fish sandwich on rye bread to go. See, you'll be ready. I wasn't. This was my last real job at a local NBC affiliate in Erie, Pennsylvania. They gave me one assignment: make more people watch the weather report on the 6 o'clock news. So I was really worried. What can I do to make it exciting? So I took my idea into my boss, Mr. Johnson, and took drawings and everything. I said, Mr. Johnson, look at this. We're going to have Shirley, the weather woman, climb up this ladder, and she swings into the set on a swing. And she's dressed as a weather fairy. Don't you think that'd be fun? Mr. Johnson did not. I got a little pink slip of paper in my box the next morning. So I left WICU television, and then I started teaching in a college in Boston, and the college closed. And then a teacher asked me one day, Mark, if you were a bumper sticker, what would it say? I thought that was a good exercise for all of us. You know, what would we have to say about ourselves if we only had a few words on a bumper sticker? My bumper sticker would say, I like all kids and some adults. It's true. And the last words I ever want to hear from a child are, you're fired. Because I think of you guys as my boss now, and I love my job. I never want to lose it. Okay, you're up.
What were you like as a kid?
Well, as a kid, I had big plans. Yes, I thought about writing. I daydreamed a lot. I got in trouble for it. I drew for my friends next to me in 2nd grade. I got in trouble for that. And now it's my job.
What got you started writing books?
Okay, I was in high school. My parents had a baby. I had this new baby sister, and all she did was cry and poop. And I couldn't stop the pooping, but I could stop the crying by reading her books. And I was reading her this book. She loved this book, Where the Wild Things Are. And it made a big impression on me. I thought, how can this guy make up a story with so few words and pictures that's so exciting? I want to do that someday. So that stayed with me.
Did you like to read when you were a kid?
You know, I didn't have that many books growing up, but I had a great-grandmother and a grandmother who told me stories, and my sister's stories whenever we wanted them. My grandmother, Thora, would tell us spooky stories when we wanted them. And she'd take out her false teeth to make them really spooky. And my great-grandmother would tell us stories about coming to America from Ireland. And she was the oldest of 13 brothers and sisters. And they got stuck coming to America in an iceberg. And she was down in the dark hold of the ship cutting bread for her brothers and sisters. And she cut her hand open. And then she showed me where the scar was on her hand. That made the story really special. But I didn't read a lot of books growing up, but I did have these wonderful storytellers. And then my dad would take me to the Erie Public Library on Saturday mornings. But we didn't get children's books. We'd go upstairs to where the books on architecture were. And he would take out all these books and he would show me pictures of houses, old houses, and the doorways, the stairways, the fences. And I grew up loving old buildings, and now I've restored 8 of them. So I think it's really important when you share what you love with kids, it can make a really, really big impression on them.
Where do you live?
Live in 2 places. Most of the time in New York City, and about half of the year on an island off of Massachusetts called Martha's Vineyard. I'm going to take you there right now. We're going to get on this big ferry boat, and we could drive our car on or a truck. And in 35 minutes we'll be over on Martha's Vineyard, and I take you to my house. It's a really old house. It's almost 300 years old. And it was falling down when we bought it. And I worked a lot and fixed it up. And it's also a farm. We have a lot of animals. We have a lot of chickens. Some of them lay blue and green eggs. They're called Aracanas. They're from Chile. We have these 2 belted Galloway cattle that came from Scotland. Don't they look like Oreo cookies? They make me so hungry for Oreos. And we have a lot of ponies that people give us when their kids outgrow them. They come to our place and stay there. Now I thought this would be a good story, Jeremiah, because this little pony is blind, and the big pony is its guide pony. Just like people who are blind, you know, they have guide dogs. Well, ponies have guides too, and so the big pony helps him find his food and helps him get into the barn when he has to go in there. We have some new piglets. That's sausage, and that's bacon. Yum. We have a lot of wild turkeys. Okay, look really closely at this picture. You found it. The peacock. Yeah, there's this peacock. He just arrived one day and he thinks he's a turkey. I want to take him aside and explain Thanksgiving. And then we have this Ella duck. I'm just kidding. And this little squirrel eagle. They're very rare. Oh, we have 2 goats. This is Hannah, and this is Hillary Clinton. She's the smart one. And the real Hillary Clinton was visiting our neighbors one day, and we were invited over to meet her. And so I got up my courage and I said, Hillary, guess what? I've got a big surprise for you. If you'll just come outside with me over in the pasture, I want to show you something. And so she came with me, and I said, Hillary Clinton, meet the goat, Hillary Clinton. She was not amused. She did not think it was funny.
Do you have a pet?
Yes. Some of us wanted a dog, some of us wanted a cat. So we got this dog. I'm just kidding. These are our real pets. That's Romeo, and that's his sister Lola. They're very good pets.
Where do you work?
I work over what was an old sheep barn. If we go upstairs, the first thing you'd see would be Arthur and DW keeping me company. And in New York City, I work in a tiny, it was like a garden hut out behind our house. It's really tiny. It's only 6 feet wide at the widest part. So I stand up and I work in there all day. Sometimes it's like 7 o'clock at night before I realize that I didn't have lunch. That's the desk. It's not very big.
Do you have a hobby?
I do. I like to bake pies. I grow a lot of the stuff I put in them, like blueberries, raspberries, apples. And my other new hobby is Governor Chris Christie. Have you been following the story? So he's the governor of New Jersey. He closes down the George Washington Bridge that goes across the river to New York City. People couldn't get to work. Kids couldn't get to school. It was terrible. So I think we're going to see him in an orange jumpsuit. That's
Where do you get your ideas?
from every day there are ideas around me. And I write them down so I don't forget them. And I collect names of people so I can use them for new characters. I put them in my idea drawers. And so when I have to go shopping for something, I just pull out the drawer and find something that I did at the post office or whatever. Very helpful.
Why did Arthur's nose change?
Okay, this is tragic. This is what he looked like in the very first book, Arthur's Nose. He looked more like an anteater, an aardvark. But then, the more I drew him, the rounder his face got, and his nose got smaller and smaller and smaller. It's a little, I wonder if Michael Jackson read my books as a child. Oh, that was a terrible joke.
What do you use to make your illustrations?
I use colored pencils, watercolor, and I use magic markers or Sharpies to do the outlines with them. But lately I've been using collage. I paint papers and cut things out of magazines and books and glue them together. I've been doing new things. I'm having a little fun trying new stuff. This was a book about babies, which was fun to illustrate.
Do you have days when you can't write?
Yes. And I turn to the magic of Windex. I don't know what it is, but something about cleaning my desk, I vacuum my studio, and then I go to the mail and I get our electric bill, I get the mortgage statement, I get the American Express bill, and magically I get back to work.
Are you working on a new book?
I am. I just finished one about New York City. When we moved there, I wanted to get to know where I lived. So I took my sketch pad and photograph and went around the city. That's our house. We're right next door to the Spotted Pig. If you come to New York City, go there for hamburgers. They make really good hamburgers and French fries. And you can see the new Freedom Tower, World Trade Center in the background. Now that's what New York City looked like when it started. It was called New Amsterdam, and the streets were very different, and the sounds that you heard were very different. There are a lot of parades. It seems like every week there's a parade in New York. This is also, Jeremiah, what I call shameless self-promotion. He was in the Macy's parade. And the best thing, for me, the best thing about New York City is food. There are so many good things to eat. There are 1,600 places to get pizza in New York City. And I was taking this sketch in to show my editor, and she said, "Oh, I was just downstairs and I saw Liza Minnelli eating yogurt." So I put her in the book. I hear she's back in rehab. So I had a lot of things from my sketchbook I couldn't get into the book. So I put them on the end papers of the book. Like, just for instance, when you take the subway in New York, you never know what you're going to see. This woman was playing Chopin on the violin while she was doing a hula hoop. You don't see that everywhere, Jeremiah. And this is a book I'm working on right now. It's a new character called Monkey. I did this little doodle and I showed it to my publisher and she said, "I think there's a story there." She said, "What's up with the sad lunchbox?" So I thought about it and I thought, maybe he's afraid of going to kindergarten. So yeah, indeed he was. What if his teacher doesn't like him? What if he gets on the wrong bus? What if he can't find the bathroom? What if he doesn't like the snacks? What if they don't have red crayons? What if he can't remember all the letters of the alphabet? And what if he doesn't make new friends? And why does Monkey need to go to kindergarten anyway? He can already count to 12, and he usually remembers most of the alphabet. So that's what I'm working on now.
Do you have a family?
I do. Here they are. I'm going to visit my mom, who's going to be 93 on Friday. She's in St. Augustine. This was us all together last Thanksgiving at her house. And we're happy. It's a pretty good family. I'm lucky. That's my wife, Lori. She is a psychologist, and She worked at Harvard for many years studying with Howard Gardner and running Project Zero there. And now she's an artist. She's working on a one-woman show in New York next year.
Where do you get the ideas for your characters?
Okay, this is exciting. I didn't realize that my whole career was right in front of me when I was in 3rd grade. All of my friends turned into Arthur characters. Some of them don't know, so don't tell them. Okay, let me see if I can get them. Here's my best friend, Terry Johnson. He turned into Buster. This must be in your way. There's my friend, Alan. He turned into the Brain. That's me. I'm the nerdy one in the 2nd row. This was this girl I kind of liked, Patricia Del Porto. She turned into Sue Ellen. Up on the top row in the flowered dress, that's Prunella. And there was this kid who used to pick on us at recess. He was so miserable. This is him on the side. It kind of looks like a teacher, doesn't he? He turned into Binky Barnes. I often wondered how many years he was in 3rd grade. That's our teacher, Miss Kingston, over there. She used to make us popcorn in class. It was so good. And she got married that year and invited the whole class to her wedding. What was she thinking? And then in 7th grade, I had this algebra teacher who I couldn't forget no matter how hard I tried. He turned into Mr. Ratburn. My sister Bonnie, who was really bossy and liked to talk a lot, and she was good at sports, she turned into Francine. And I had 3 little sisters who were triple trouble. I turned them together into one character who's triple trouble, EW. And that's what they look like now. They're still trouble. Lots of trouble. And when Tolan, that's about the time he heard the first bedtime story of Arthur, I kind of combined both of us to make the character Arthur. Now Tolan's one of the producers on the Arthur TV show. And I got a lot of ideas from my kids for Arthur stories. Tolan was afraid to go to day camp, and the same thing happened to Arthur. Tucker had a loose tooth that wouldn't come out, no matter how hard he wiggled it in 2nd grade, and he was embarrassed. He was the only one who still had all his teeth, and the same thing happened to Arthur. Eliza had trouble with her training wheels, and the same thing happened to DW.
Why did you make Arthur into a TV show?
I never ever thought I was going to be involved with the TV show. But I had a really good friend, Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, who we all love, right? Well, he also was really smart about TV and helping kids with what he put on his show. Just last week, I got an email. There was this young woman who was watching Arthur, and she saw the show about George having dyslexia. She was 5 years old. She was sitting in a room by herself watching the TV, and it hit her. She said, "This is what's wrong with me." She knew something wasn't right, and she ran to tell her parents in the next room, "Mommy and Daddy, I have malexia." and she wrote this beautiful article about what it was like to discover that and what she did, and she's a remarkable young woman.
What's the coolest thing you ever did?
That I can tell you about? Okay, I got to fly on Air Force One with Mrs. Bush, Laura Bush. I was invited to represent America at the Moscow Children's Book Festival. And so I got a tour of the White House upstairs where the president sleeps and eats and everything. I even saw his socks on the bedroom floor. And his mother said, "George is still leaving his socks on the floor." Okay, here's inside Air Force One. We're flying to Moscow, and it's set up right up here behind this wall is a little apartment where the president has a bed, a bathroom, and a living room. I know because I peeked. And here is my buddy R.L. Stine, who wrote all the Goosebumps books. He went to Russia too. More about him later. Here we are getting ready to talk to the kids. in Moscow, Mrs. Bush read Arthur Meets the President. I drew a lot. And that's Mrs. Putin over here in that tragic yellow and blue suit. What do you suppose she was thinking when she got dressed that morning? I think I want to look like a clown. No, I want to look like a 1957 Edsel. That night, we had dinner in the Kremlin. And it was in this beautiful big room. President Putin was there. He's kind of a scary dude. He came over to my table and I got to meet him. And we had to eat a lot of fish and white gelatinous substances. Here we are, we're getting ready to leave Moscow. That was my favorite part, leaving. This is where I got into big trouble, Jeremiah. If you'll notice, up in the left-hand corner, the Secret Service agent who just spotted me with my camera. I was taking these pictures, and I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to. He tackled me. He tried to take my camera away. And I said, what if I erase my pictures? I'm going to erase them right now. He said, you're going to erase those? I said, oh, I'm erasing them right now. I have to tell you, on the back of my third grade report card, Miss Kingston wrote, does not follow directions. They are a little secret.
Something big is coming.
I thought, what better place to celebrate a brand new book that isn't even published yet than here today with you guys. So I'm going to read the new book. It's with my buddy R.L. Stein. It's his very first picture book. It's called The Little Shop of Monsters. That's what you can do. Okay, I just wanted to end with life is short. Read great books. Keep reading, you guys. It was so much fun to be with you today.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
Come on inside, we've got everything you need. There's plenty to do, or you could just sit and read.
This book explains how to make paper planes.
This contour map can show you mountain range terrains.
Fly to the moon, explore the ocean floor.
Find out which one's a tiller and which one is the oar.
Here's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and half magic. Hop on Pop, Fox and Sauce,
And books on doing card tricks. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. That's right. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
Books on baseball, hockey, and soccer.
And even how to build yourself a cool door knocker.
I could stay in this place for hours and hours.
I like books with pictures of lots of pretty flowers. Being crushed by a giant pterodactyl.
Jules Verne, H.G. Wells, and Ray Bradbury.
You can take them home so you don't have to read them in a hurry.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
Paintings by Leonardo, Rembrandt, and Picasso.
Confidentially, I'm reading Go, Dog, Go.
There's a giving tree, and Jumanji, and where the wild things are.
And a book on why you should not keep your brother in a jar.
Let me out! All the thoughts and dreams of people throughout history. And all you need's this little card to borrow them for free. Yeah! Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
There's story time and lessons on how to use computers, but there can't be any classes on how to make computers. Puppet shows and movies, the cool things never end. And don't forget the Dewey Decimal System is your friend.
Who's Dewey? And don't forget the Dewey Decimal System is your friend.
Who's Dewey?